Welcome everyone to another session of Crituitous RP. Previously, on your adventure to visit the various Uthgard barbarian burial mounds, you have been collecting the giant relics that you found there. Your journey took you through the city of Bryn Shander briefly and then to Luskan last week. In Luskan you investigated a burnt out frost giant ship, faced them down. Whilst in Luskan, you had met a familiar friend, Jarlaxle, who explained to you all that there was a drow family from the surface that were about to make a play on Gauntlegrim. So, since you were headed kind of in that direction anyway, you made it part of your plan to head to Gauntlegrim. You stopped by Morga's Mound for one last relic before heading into Gauntlegrim. Now, the time that it took for your ship to fly from Luskan to Morga's Mound and then from Morga's Mound over towards Gauntlegrim was approximately about 12 hours or so. But with the stop off in Morga's Mound, it's getting very late. It's almost midnight for you guys, and pretty late in the night. You're about an hour's flight away from the city of Gauntlegrim. Knowing full well that the city is an underground dwarven citadel, you can't exactly fly the airship straight into the city, so you'll have to park it somewhere. But it's getting late, so what would you guys like to do?
What do we think about contacting the dwarves and asking them to light up a runway for us, to park it outside the front door?
How do you suggest doing that?
Well, to contact them, I guess via one of your spells of sending.
Do you think that we're going to be bedding down soon?
Probably after we chat with them.
Okay. But just so you know, I'm not feeling hot. I haven't been feeling too hot all day. I'm pretty bushed. So I'm hoping this is going to be the end of the day.
I can fly down there. Ask me to get things ready.
They might not recognize you, Owen. Aaron, Loic, Lael, and I have been here before by invitation, so there's a good chance that they'll know who we are.
What, don't they take strangers?
Well, they're a fortified stronghold, so they probably would accept strangers, but not the same way that they would accept guests who've been there before. Plus, it probably would be difficult to find the front door without having them help us.
That's alright, I'll fly around a bit, shout your names out, and somebody's bound to recognise you.
You could do that, Owen, but do remember that it is very late in the night. You're still about an hour's flight with the airship, not just the carpet, the airship, which is much faster than the carpet is. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a while if you want to go out and scout out with your carpet first.
Is there an absolute urgency to do this tonight? Is my main question. We could quite simply take rest tonight, have the ship land in Neverwinter Wood just outside of Gauntlegrim, and we could walk up first thing.
We could do that.
Loric's tired. We've got nearly 2 weeks of preparation. I don't think 6 hours is going to cause too much problem.
So I will lower my voice so as not to be heard by the crew and say, well, if we went to Neverwinter first, we would have the opportunity to find a new crew if these folks prove themselves to be untrustworthy. So I would be fine with that option as well.
About visiting Neverwinter first? The defenses aren't as good.
Well, we could put down in the harbor like we did in Luskan. We could take all of our stuff off the ship, put it in our tower, and see if the cultists are objecting to that. And if so, we know they're no longer trustworthy, and we replace them with the new crew. If they are fine with us loading up our gains, then there's no urgency to replace them. But at least we would be able to land and rest and not have to worry about Loic's depleted spell power.
Sure. It would behoove us anyways to wait, because the people that I would be sending those spells to aren't even awake right now. Probably.
Why don't we just go to sleep and deal with it in the morning?
But let's be fair, Bruno's not known for his patience, and waking him up in the middle of the night, he may not be in great temperament either.
If the dwarves, they could be up all night drinking. Who knows? And I elbow Gamble.
He's like, yeah, I would personally love to go and see what kind of things they've got in that city. I've heard many wonderful things about the merchants in Gauntlgrim. So my vote would be, let's bed down and go to Gauntlgrim in the morning.
Okay, so Lael, you're suggesting we go to sleep on the ship in the air. Is that right?
We've done it many times before. Don't see why we should stop now.
I guess we have slept while commuting from one place to the next place. This would be sleeping whilst staying still. Do we think that might be a risk? Would we attract?
Personally do. I think it's a risk. I'd like to land. Or head somewhere and head back, potentially. That's exactly 8 hours of a trip.
We can put down in the forest and cover and camouflage the boat, and then walk up in the morning. I think it'd be safer to be in the forest undercover than it would be to be up in the air.
Okay. Yeah, I agree that there are reasons to land. Okay, so Aaron, it sounds like you want to land in the forest versus landing in the harbor, or pulling into the harbor. Is that right?
Well, Neverwinter's another couple of hours, I imagine. So we can do Gauntlgrim and go to Neverwinter after. I'm fine with doing that if you want to. If you really want to, and I'll say this quietly, you want to test your theory. But yeah, I think we can sit in the forest for 6 to 8 hours and then just walk up to the gate. Doesn't seem too imposing that way. I think an airship over the stronghold might create some animosity if they don't know who we are.
Are we standing on the deck?
I assume you guys are underneath in a room together just talking about the situation. When you're actually planning this kind of thing, socializing on top as the Campfire RP had you socializing just up until now is all well and good, but I think any time you guys would do any sort of strategic conversation, you'd move down naturally and get some privacy to do it.
All right, yeah, I just want to make sure that Clout's scrying shenaniganery wasn't relevant.
Mm-hmm. So you instruct Brassic. You tell him that it's best that we go and set down within the Neverwinter Wood just off to the side, outside the mountain that houses Gauntlgrim, so that you guys can rest for the night and then approach Gauntlgrim in the morning.
Sounds like the best of all options.
He follows those instructions. He instructs his men to do the same as they start shifting over to do another shift and trading off. It takes only about 30 minutes before the ship comes to a nice rest just at the edge of the Neverwinter Wood. Now that you've been discussing it, you all bed down. Anyone that had expended anything, you do get the benefits of a full long rest while you are sleeping. So regain any hit points that were lost or Elfat. Loic, you are no longer exhausted. And bright and early in the morning, you guys wake up. You heading to Gauntlgrim?
I don't want to leave our stuff on the ship.
I'll send a sending spell to Brunner. We'll get some dwarves out here. See if he can help us. Right? That was the plan, to contact Brunner today?
So there's this thing I keep trying to do that we keep on putting off, and that is to test the cultists. So my mind is on taking the stuff off of the ship and putting it into our fortress.
But
so
you
that
said
we can always
you wanted to contact Brunner and tell the dwarves we're here.
to light up the entrance to Gauntlgrim in the middle of the night. I mean, being announced is a good thing to do, so there's no harm in announcing ourselves to Brunner. But before we set off to Gauntlgrim, I want to take our stuff off of the ship and see how the cultists respond.
Okay.
So it's very heavy. So can you guys give me a hand?
I'll give you a hand. I'd send a message as well. Just announce our presence to Bruna that we will be arriving by foot within the next hour or so.
It's not like it doesn't take any kind of power. It takes actually a considerable amount of power to cast the spell. So unless it's needed, I'd rather not.
Okay.
So together you start working to gather up your materials. Brassic, well, not Brassic because he's asleep right now, but his first mate, Laz. Laz approaches you as you're packing everything together. Can I help you with any of that?
We got it. I am making a show of it to make sure that they all know we're taking our relics out of the boat. So no thanks. We got it. Appreciate it. Keep your eyes on the skies.
I do think the items will probably be safer on board.
Agree to disagree. We're going to keep them with us just because we know there's no safer place than by Aaron's side. And I slap Aaron on the back.
He doesn't seem to be stopping you from carrying the items off the ship. In fact, he seems very much interested in just helping you get the stuff off the ship, offering to give you a hand. But he does ask what the plan is. He knows you guys are headed into Gauntlgrim, but should we wait here? Should we meet you somewhere else? What's the plan, sirs?
We may be a day in Gauntlgrim. We're passing on a message, and then we'll be back out and heading possibly to two destinations, either Netherwinter or what was the fourth point on the map, our last relic destination. Or Longsaddle.
You had Longsaddle and Shining White. Those were the two stops that you had planned. Yes, Leo.
Leo's going to interrupt Aaron and say, we actually might be a little bit longer, which I will explain on the way. But yes, we may be a little bit longer than a day.
We'll do our best to keep
I'm a little bit concerned, though, folks. We're obviously a flying ship, fairly large ship, inside a forest. Kind of stick out.
If you feel that the ship would be better off in the skies, feel free to do that. Just stay in the area, and we'll call for you.
Okay. We'll keep a scout, keeping an eye out for you all. But you'll be leaving Gauntlgrim with us, correct?
Yep.
Okay. We'll be here, waiting when you're ready.
Do you need anything, Laz, from the city? More supplies or anything? More ammo?
He kind of leans forward. There's a certain inn called the Old Boar. Does a brilliant ale. If you could get me a batch of that, I'll pay you. We'll keep it on the down low. It'd be nice.
Okay, Laz.
Cheers.
Okay, so I head off the ship and I put the instant fortress on the ground and I say, "Bigify!" And
It lifts up, and it's big.
Open the door, and I say, "All right, let's bring the stuff in here."
Okay. Aaron will start picking up the big stuff and start loading it in.
I'll supervise.
It doesn't take you guys long to get everything on. So in terms of what relics you have the shield, Frost Giant shield from the Great Worm Cavern. You also collected the magma ring from Raven's Rock, and there was another one from Raven's Rock as well.
Thigh-bone.
The thigh bone, yes. Okay. The thigh bone that looks like a great club. Then you've also got Morga's Mound. It's the tooth. Yeah. So those four things, you quickly get into the tower. You're able to close it back down and carry everything with you. The travel from where you camped to Gauntlgrim isn't hard. You guys have actually passed through this path before, making your way into the mountain itself, down a couple tunnels. You turn. Gideon, Owen, and Gamel, this is the first time you three have ever actually traveled to Gauntlgrim, or the Underdark for that matter. So it's a new experience for you all to start heading down, and you start feeling that pressure of the ground above you a little bit more.
While we're travelling to Gontalgrim before we get there, Leo, mounted and saddled on Angaste, will turn back to face everyone, and she'll stop. And she'll say, "So, my dinner with Jarlaxle. There was no dinner. He took it upon himself to attempt to blackmail me. These drow that are going to try and take the primordial are apparently a surface family. He wouldn't tell me who or what, but he wanted me to find out all the information I could about them. And if I didn't, then he would tell my grandmother the location of my family members on the surface."
Not surprised.
What'd you say?
Looked like a scumbag.
And what'd you say?
I said I would get him the information.
Did you tell him he didn't need to do that?
No, I will tell him when I see him again. Oh, don't worry about that.
If you don't, I will.
No, I will, don't worry. I'm quite looking forward to seeing him again. But yeah, so we may be longer, and I will need to find this family. And so that's why I think we'll be here a little longer than a day, and I hope you will help me.
Definitely. It's all for a good cause anyways. We need to make sure this primordial stays exactly where it's at.
I ain't letting that freak get the upper hand.
Oh, he won't.
I think, were we all present when Jarlaxle recommended that we come to Gontalgrim?
Yeah, so the only one that wasn't present when Jarlaxle mentioned that he knows of a drow family that are making a play for the primordial in 2 weeks' time. The only two people that weren't present was Lael and Owen. That was it. Everyone else was present and there and knows that this drow family will be making a play in 2 weeks.
Leo was there.
Was she?
Because Owen came back to the ship. I got
Oh, yeah.
changed. Then we went back.
And that's when he offered you a date. Okay.
Yeah, Jarlaxle's expected timeline for this assault was 2 weeks from now. I think we can come back. I mean, we should definitely warn them that there is an impending attack, but I don't know the value that we add by hanging around for 2 weeks. I don't know that we learn anything about the invading force by waiting for them.
I agree.
Sorry, please go ahead.
I generally agree, but I would like to check in when it gets closer to the date, because at any point this family could catch wind that other people have caught wind and thus change their time frame. No, you.
Thank you. They could already be here. Somehow, somewhere. Drow are very slippery, I know from experience. And it's not your family on the line. I was just warning you that we could be here for a day. If I get winds that something is here, I'm going to try and find it beforehand.
Owen looks at Lael a little bit confused and says, "How many drow do live on the surface? Can't be that many of you."
I do know most of the weird ways in and out, the back entrances and exits, at least whereabouts they ought to be, based on myths and legends of the past. There should be some back ways into Gontalgrim towards the east. So we'll take a good look at those back ways. There are some stories and stuff. I know of some rooms that are probably hidden before we leave.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Oh.
Okay. So you all continue walking through the mountains, the air getting a little bit colder with every step that you take down further towards. And you see before you the enormous gates to the city itself, the gates that you've passed through before. As you're stepping up to them, you see that one of them immediately starts to just shift, and with a heavy shudder, you hear it moving across. A bit of light breaks through the doorway as a dwarven-sized individual steps out towards you to greet you. With arms out, he turns to you all. "Welcome to Gontalgrim. You have been expected."
Oh, good. That'll make this easy.
It's never good, is it?
Come in, friends.
Can I insight the person who's greeting us
Go ahead and roll an insight check.
to see if I can glean why he's being so friendly?
I wonder if we'll get to stay in those diplomat rooms again. They were quite nice. if I
Never go to a
remember.
5-star hotel, Carl. You're going to be just inciting everybody who speaks to you nice.
So you look at him, and he just seems generally excited, like just a happy chappy. As you get a little bit closer to him, he holds his hand out to you all individually. The name is Kopek. Greetings.
Out of curiosity, Aaron,
Yeah?
the first time we approached this gate, did we get the same kind of welcome?
No, you didn't. But the last time you approached Aaron, you approached as part of a group, the Enclave's representatives. And so you were kind of greeted as a party, but not with a happy heart. Everything was kind of a sullen feeling back then because of the situation that you guys were there to solve. This time, he's just happy-go-lucky looking little dwarf.
We're also returning as heroes as well.
Owen shakes his hand and just was like, alright, Kopek?
When it comes to my turn, my entire tentacle is just gonna swallow the guy, and he's just gonna shake the whole body. Good to meet you!
Okay. Like, right, let's go. Bruna's waiting for you. Oh, rather, King Bruna is waiting for you.
Aaron's going to ask why we were expected.
The king just told me he's been expecting you and to come and greet you today. That was the plan. That's all I know.
As we're walking,
Mhm.
I adjust my gear to make sure that my belt of dwarven kind is showing. As everyone looks, I'm also adjusting my mithril armor, just making sure everyone knows.
He
Yep.
looks positively impressed by the sight of your dwarven attire.
I'm gonna whisper to Aaron that they probably know that we were headed this direction because of our mutual large-headed friend.
Okay.
So he brings you in through the doors and step through the gate. Now, Aaron, Taman, Loic, and Lael, last time you were in Gauntlgrim, it was a dire situation. The Underdark and the material plane as a whole was in peril. And you guys were being sent as a last-ditch attempt to secure everything and bring it back to normal. This time, as you step in, everything just seems more lit up. You enter the main chamber of Gauntlgrim. You can see the market squares are just teeming with dwarves. Everyone's moving about, buying and selling. Shouts are going across groups. Everyone seems to be having a grand time. People are wearing very fine clothing, and there's just this air of joy as you step through. Kopek leads you through the throng of people towards the hall of the king, passes you through the main gates and past the guards that stand watch over the entrance, and he leaves you at the door. He just holds it open and points inside to this long hall that you had experienced before. Doesn't say anything, but just bids you in. You all step in and the doors close behind you. As you move closer to the main part of this room, you get a clearer view of the throne at the other side, with the familiar-looking dwarven individual, Bruna, sat there wearing his big armor with his axe to the side, just looking at you all with a big old smile on his face, waiting for you to arrive. But to his right, you see in a smaller chair, a very simple wooden seat, is a dark-skinned, white-haired female wearing a long white robe.
Dark skin as in drow.
You get closer and closer, and you're pretty sure this is a drow.
Loic goes into PTSD. He just pauses there and twitches a little bit.
As you're approaching, is there anything you guys are doing?
I think, knowing how Loic fell last time, I am holding him back and saying, don't worry, I'll look for traps.
Is there any way that I can figure out whether or not Brunner is charmed?
Probably not from the other side of the room, as you'd have to get right up close, maybe within about 30, 40 feet, before you could really start telling if he's been charmed.
Can Aaron just hold the handle of Black Razor just to get a sense of anybody else in the room?
You only sense the amount of people that you can see. Now in this room, it's the large entrance hall of the king. So you've got the king sat in his throne, and to the right of him, this strange new female. You also have his guardmen that you can see clearly. It's a series of shield dwarves. There are 6 of them lined around the area near his throne, and then 2 at the entrance that you've just passed. But there are in amongst the room various other looking dwarves, just simple folk that each has a mug of ale in their hand, look like they're having a good time. But the amount of people you can see clearly exactly equals the amount of souls that Black Razor is suggesting to you.
Going to follow just closely behind Lael, and he sort of leans in to murmur to her. He's going to say, what do you think? Do you think that's who we're looking for?
She's wearing white. Drow do not normally wear white. Now, I'm just going to march up there. I'm scowling. I'm just going to march straight up there. I'm not scared of traps.
When you get close enough, about 40 feet away from him, Brunner tips his head towards you, stands to meet you, and as does the drow female. And as he dips his head, welcome, friends. It has been a long time.
Aaron's going to do a slight bow. Brunner, it's been a while. It's good to see you. May I introduce some of our new colleagues? Owen, the giant killer.
Owen just sort of bows his head respectfully, just says, nice to meet you, Your Majesty.
Gideon, our fair paladin.
Gideon sort of dips his head in acknowledgement. He looks very bewildered and quite uncomfortable at the press of people around here.
And Gamel, a fine weaponsmith, even for dwarf standards.
He looks at you all and just strokes his beard. You folk are a weird sight. I'm just gonna put it out there. But you look great together. Right. Down to business. I know that you're here, but I don't know why you're here.
Before we get on with business, would you like to introduce your new friend here?
Oh, yes. Sorry. I forget. She's new. Yes. So, Loic, Taman, Erin, Leia Lestre, Lady Leia Lestre, and the new people. Meet Div Kira, my new advisor.
Div Kira what, if I may be so bold?
She steps forward towards you all, and everyone make perception checks, though with your passives you should be fine anyway. But go ahead and let's see how much you can see. Okay. The vast majority of you, pretty much everyone except Owen, is able to see that as she steps forward, you can see her more clearly. This is definitely a drow. Looks like a drow. It's a drow. But her eyes look very different. Drow typically just have black eyes. No color to them at all. This drow has bright blue eyes.
Like Lael's eyes?
I forgot you had bright blue eyes. I guess so, yes.
I have bright blue eyes for a reason.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot you had bright blue eyes. Well, she has bright blue eyes, again, setting her apart from the rest of the drow. And she bows to you all respectively. My name is Divkira Halatla. Greetings, friends. How may we of Gauntlegrim help you?
How did you come to be here?
That is a long story, my friend. I had visions of importance that required me to be here.
Would you care to share that?
Bruno's made you his advisor in such a short period of time.
Oh, yes. As he says, since Divkira has been here, she's led my dwarves to newfound spots of perfect mithril. We have never been richer, and the mining has been great.
All well and good. As I recall, you weren't in any kind of short supply of that stuff, but more power to you.
Oh, but it's all been going well. Don't worry, I've tested her out. She's safe. She's good.
Do you mind if we test her out? Would you mind? Do I call you Lady Divkira?
You can call me Kira. I am no lady.
Would you mind if I use my magic to evaluate and ensure that our friend Brunner is in safe hands?
Of course. Of course, go ahead, please. What would
Brunner,
you like to try?
This includes you, my friend. Do you mind if I examine you a little bit? I won't do anything untoward.
Does it involve that thing?
It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so I'm gonna detect magic on both of them.
Okay. So you cast simply detect magic, and magic just flares up. You can see that there is magical aura coming off of Bruner's armor, his weapon off to the side next to his throne. You can see that Divkira also has a couple magical items on her as well, and she's just giving off this little essence of magic. But
now I get to know the schools with the actual spell. So I'm looking specifically for some kind of charm spell on our buddy.
Okay. You don't see any form of charm type spell. Which school is charm? It's typically charm spells in.
Enchantment, I think? Yeah.
It would be enchantment. You don't see really any enchantment magic.
Okay.
So much.
I turn to my fellows and give a nod. Say, yep, he's clean.
Showered last week.
And now your turn, Divkira. And I'm going to actually use Detect Thoughts on her while I ask the question, why are you here? Why did you come here?
Okay. You hear her respond, and in her mind as well, almost at the exact same time, just simply the words, I came looking for friendship, to meet new people, and to inquire about you.
Checks out.
I have had visions of you, Seven. I've seen you in my dreams, and I don't know why.
Were they good dreams?
She looks at you. Yes. What brings you to Gauntlegrim?
We have a little bit of business with Brunner, and I wanted to get the teleportation sigil, if y'all have completed it.
Well, I shan't get in the way. Lady Lael, that's your name, right?
Laestray, yes.
Lael Stray, sorry, yes. It's been a while since I've observed the finer etiquettes of a true lady. I was wondering if you would care to join me this afternoon for just to talk. It pains me to say, in my solitude, I have forgotten some of the more specific facts of the dances to the lady, and I could do with some help remembering them, if you wouldn't mind. I hear that you are a follower of Elistrae, correct?
That is true.
Wonderful.
And are you?
Yes, of course.
Insight check, please.
Go ahead and insight that.
15.
Seems true.
Okay.
Seems genuine.
just to double check, I'm going to say something in Undercommon to her. I'm going to say, come hither, wearied souls of troubled hearts, and make your way from darkness to light.
Right. Now, what's the answer you're expecting to get from an actual follower of Alistrae?
Unchain the passions of your shackled parts and dance into the deepest blue of night.
Okay. She says that in Undercommon back to you.
Okay, all checks out. Leo just brightens up and she just smiles and she says, "Yes, I will happily attend you this afternoon."
Okay, thank you. The young dwarf that led you here, Kopek, I believe his name is, he can direct you to the baths. It'll be wonderful to be able to chit-chat, hear a little bit about how your family have survived out in the wild. Well,
very well.
Can Aaron have a look around? Is everyone seemingly very high-spirited right now?
It just seems like things are going well for the city. They've not had a...
Not abnormally high-spirited.
Not abnormally. They don't look like they've been charmed at all. Things are prosperous.
Okay.
But she turns around and starts walking away and heads out the main gate. And Bruna signals you all to sit down at a table that's nearby. And he actually comes and sits down with you. Right. There's probably only one or two reasons why you band of adventurers are at my doors. So, what trouble am I in now?
While Lael was talking to Divkira, I would have liked to have sent a sending spell to Jarlaxle, saying, "Divkira Halatar is in a throne next to Brunner. Know anything about this?"
That's new. I don't know that name.
I will pull out the coin and put it on the table and let him see it and tell him that a mutual friend has caught wind of some potential threats to Megara.
You see him just kind of sulk down a little bit as soon as he sees that coin.
You guys are
puts
too
his
happy.
Head in his hand. Oh,
Obviously.
I thought all my dealings with that thing were done.
So long as you are the king of Gauntlgrim, she's your charge. That's always going to be a thing.
But what's he got to do with all this? I thought we were done with him a long time ago.
Done with him? As far as I understand, nobody's ever done with him. Either way, he has your interests in mind. He doesn't want to see the kind of destruction that...
Yeah, he seemed like a real nice guy, Ian.
You don't even know him.
I know what
Anyways, the reason why he probably caught wind of it is because it has to do with that of the darker-skinned variety. So, we were
This'll
thinking...
be about those drow that are planning to attack here, right?
Oh, thank goodness you know. Okay, so I don't have to keep dancing around this.
Yeah. Kira, when she arrived, she told me this strange tale, and I'll admit it took a while for me to believe her. This tale she was telling was about how her family had made some deal with giants, no less. And that deal involved stealing a primordial. Who in their right mind thinks they can steal a primordial? Under my house.
Magicians.
One of the reasons she explained she was here was because she disagreed with her family's plan and she wanted to come and warn me. So since then I've had a constant double of the guard over by Megara's pit. I haven't seen any evidence of anything yet.
He marked their attack in about 2 weeks' time. But if you already know, and of course they know that Divkira knows, and the information is now in circulation, then they could change the time in which they attack.
That's true.
If you have any spare squadrons of dwarves, you may send them towards the back entries, towards where your grave is.
He looks at you incredulously.
Don't worry. It's because of Silvery Moon, which in turn because of the Harples, which in turn because of Drist. I don't know anything. You guys don't want anyone else to know, and it's all within top ranks. But I just wanted to point out that's the place. That's the area that's most under threat.
Okay. I'll make note of that. He looks back. One of his guards nods and walks out of the room. Well, heroes of the Underdark, you are welcome in my home anytime. What can I do for you, great adventurers, now that you're here?
Do you guys need anything? I'm off to grab the teleportation sigil.
Your Majesty, this Jarlaxle fella. Sounded like you know him.
Anyone who is of a standing of authority or rule in any of the major cities knows Jarlaxle. Unfortunately, it's never for good reason.
Why do you think he'd warn you about this?
He probably gets something out of it. The thrill.
Said,
I don't know.
No, he said that a wild primordial doesn't help anybody. And I believe him when he said that.
That's a good point.
We're all same reason.
Do you have any idea how someone could steal a primordial?
There are magical items that can contain certain things. Like a genie's bottle, for instance.
That'll do. Right. Well, anything else I can do for you? What?
Sorry, do you know anything about fire giants?
Do I know anything about fire giants?
Yeah, where we might find them.
Find them? Why do you want to find them?
It's a personal matter. I've got my reasons.
Then my information's personal, boy.
Alright, if you must know. My father was killed by orcs not long ago. I tracked the orcs up north, but it looks like they were slaves or something of the fire giants. The fire giants brought them with us. They tried to attack us. I need to find them.
That's a sad tale. I'm sorry, friend. Normally I would say fire giants will be found off to the east. However, as I'm sure you've noticed, giants as a whole have been behaving weirdly lately.
Do they have a city, a town or something?
Not that I know of. Just that they move around in groups.
But we're most likely to find them in the east. Right.
That's where they used to be, but they might be anywhere.
Thanks, Your Majesty.
Okay.
What information do you have, Bruno?
About what?
The giants in general. Any other news that we might not be aware of? Anything new happening?
There's been a lot more attacks. It seems like the giants are collecting things. The fire giants seem to be looking for items of particular power. The hill giants, strangely enough, just seem to be looking for food. I don't know why. Hill giants. Don't know. That's about it. I would keep an eye on the skies, though. I've seen a lot of clouds moving in ways they shouldn't be. If you catch my drift. Drift.
That makes me aware. If you happen to see an airship above the surface around Grim, please do not attempt to shoot it down. It's SARS. It's just circling around at the moment, just in case your sentries are trigger happy.
You got an airship too? Oh, you don't happen to have a spare space in your group, do you?
Yes.
Anytime for you, Bruno.
All of my yes.
Oh, if I could go out on one more adventure. But the halls of Gauntle Grim need me.
Yeah, do it. You can take Loic's place.
Don't you have any stewards?
No.
I can lend you mine.
He's not bad. He's pretty persuasive.
Maybe another time.
Oh, you can always take Loic's place.
Nobody thought that was funny. Owen.
Well, he stands up. If there's nothing else I can do for you all, my city is yours. Have at it. Just don't make too much of a mess.
Alright, well, I'm gonna take my coin and I'm gonna do the teleportation sigil, and then I'm gonna do like I said and go hunting around the back corridors.
Okay. So, as you step out and you make your way out into the city of Gauntlgrim is yours. Some of you have been here before, some of you haven't. So you talk to one another and you kind of all understand what there is to offer in Gauntlgrim. There's plenty of places for markets and wares, but the whole city is effectively one big mine and forge. And so you guys can mostly get anything that's of a metal basis that you're looking for, as well as various inns and taverns that accommodate all sorts of individuals and preferences. Gamil speaks up and he does mention that he would like to go and visit his Merchants Guild, just to kind of check in because he kind of has to pay his dues every month. Would anyone like to join him on that venture? No? Okay, so he will disappear off to his... What was that, sorry, Jason?
Sorry, yeah, Owen would be quite keen to see it.
Okay. So, Owen, you and Gamil head off towards the merchant district, and he finds a particular shop that he points out to you that there is a symbol just above the door that indicates that this is a guild house, and that guild members can go there to get supplies and pay dues. And he meets an individual, they talk, just nothing in depth. It seems basic small talk and pleasantries passing between them. But he does pass over 5 silver pieces, which is his due that he has to give off, and in return they give him a whole bunch of supplies. As well as that, you notice that he hands them a large pouch of coin, and they provide him with this huge set of armor and a lot of raw metal, with which he says, right, that'll be enough. You get to do some personal projects for a while. And he looks, you can see a bit of excitement in his eyes as he's got something he can work on, some little task he can do during the downtime. But that's all that happens with you guys. What's everyone else want to do?
I'm just gonna probably go to the market, browse, maybe buy something with all this money that I can't get rid of.
Don't forget about the Old Boar Inn and that fellow's local brew that he wanted.
Yeah, that's also after the market. And I'm just going to kill time until the afternoon, until I can solve Kira.
Erin's going to join Leal in the market. And while we are heading there, he will offer a suggestion that she shouldn't go alone. That he's still not 100% about Kira, and it may be unwise. This might be a ploy just to get her alone with you.
She's Illustrian, and the goddess protects. So, unless you want to join us for our bath. Drow baths are quite an event.
I'm sure they are.
So that's a no?
Erin's kind of conflicted. He's sitting there going, yeah, well, I want to protect my friend, but what the hell will my wife think if she ever found out? Just be careful.
I'm just as dangerous unarmed as I am armed.
I'm sure of that.
And the boy has my rune, so if I get into trouble. And Gaste is in the stables, so if I get into real trouble, I can always get out. It's easier for me to get away by myself than it is with a group, because I don't have to leave one of you behind.
Okay.
Gideon's probably going to have tagged along after you, so I would imagine at this point he does sort of interrupt. My lady, perhaps you would allow me to accompany you as a bodyguard if you fear betrayal.
Well, I was going to take Alust with me. Alust, in her youth, was once an assassin for a drow house. Although all she does now is cook, so goodness knows how thing. But you do understand Gideon will be bathing.
He gives you a bit of a blank look.
Most people are uncomfortable with drow and bathing, so. And then she looks at him and she shrugs and she goes, "No, you're fine. If you want to come, but as I said, it's easier for me to get away if I'm alone."
I would suggest taking Illust with you. She has a pretense for being there. She's obviously a follower of Illustre as well, and it makes sense. And then you are at least not alone. I feel more comfortable with that.
Okay.
So you're heading out to the market. The market square is just busy. Lots of people. So the merchants don't really have too much time to focus or deal with anyone in particular. So they seem to hurry you and rush you a little bit. What kind of things are you looking for? Because you do have some armor smiths, you do have some weapon smiths, you've got a couple merchants that just deal in basic attire, while some are selling basic furniture and that kind of thing, simple trinkets. What kind of things would you guys like to look for in the market?
Aaron is very conscious of the fact that he has repeatedly torn his clothes. He would be looking for new gamson and undergarments, generally sort of baggy fit, but maybe something more stretchy, if possible.
Okay. You're able to find a merchant that is willing to sell you little bits of adaptation that you could put to your armor and clothes to allow them to stretch a little bit, but there is a limit to it. And you think that even in your full form, it might be a bit tight, but you're likely to tear it a little bit less.
Yeah, that'll be fine. He'll obviously buy some new needle and thread for stitching, like patch jobs and stuff, an extra cloth for that. But anything that will just help limit it.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to get a bunch of basic supplies that can do that task for about 50 gold.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, to manipulate your armor in such a way. Lael, what are you looking for?
A few things. One of them is the most important, but she's not going to make it very obvious what she's doing. She is going to look for armor, but in Gideon size.
Okay.
Plate, so she's looking for some, +1 plate armor that will fit Gideon.
Out of character. Completely out of the game.
Yep.
Leone.
Yeah.
Gamel has just purchased +2 plate
right.
for him.
Okay, never mind then.
It's like Christmas up in here.
Right. So I don't know if you guys had talked before, because it's interesting that both of you are now buying armor for Gideon.
No, he just said he wanted to be my bodyguard and he looks like a tramp.
Okay, in which case,
we're in a market.
in character, you wouldn't know that Gamel has purchased it, so fair enough. So,
28-day return policy, you're fine.
Yeah.
Sorry, those kids have plate armor laying around.
There are plenty of people that are willing to sell you plate armor. Obviously, you have a difference between just better plate armor that's forged stronger as a +1, or magically enchanted +1.
Okay.
As obviously there's a difference. Which one are you looking for? Because the magically enchanted one is going to be more expensive.
Yeah, it's fine. The magically enchanted, because I know acid doesn't work against that.
Some acids.
Yeah, well, I didn't learn that lesson.
Nope.
The lesson I learned is acid, so acid in general.
Okay. So how much is plate armor typically?
1,500.
500. Yeah. You're able to get +1 plate purchased for 2,500 gold.
Cool. She's going to pass that on to Randall to carry. She's not going to make a big scene out of it.
Out of curiosity, how much would a +2 chest plate be?
As in plate armor?
No, just chest plate.
A
breastplate.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me pull out my purchasing magical items notes. For anyone that's listening and interested, I use the Unearthed Arcana downtime rules.
It's curious because I've got a +1 plate at the moment. It's got a very interesting trait to it, but I've never used it. So
Yeah, you've never used it. Okay, so a +2 item is very rare, which would suggest that it's going to cost you 30,000 gold.
okay, I don't have 30,000 gold. It's fine.
Okay. Well, just in case, you might get a better deal later. The die rolls work in your favor another time, but yeah, that's how much the +2 plate that you find, or breastplate that you find, will cost you.
It's fine. I just wanted to get a rough estimate because I'm happy with the breastplate I've got. It's just one of those, like, you've got a trait. I've kept it because I've had a trait and it just has never been used, but that might come up, so it's fine. Thank you.
Loic, you are heading off to get the teleportation sigil, and you are led directly to the area where it is, and with your status as being known as one of those that were part of the original council that solved the problem with the Underdark, they just take you straight in, no questions asked, and they lead you towards where the teleportation circle can be found. And they will help you to understand what the ruins are and how to write it down. And you now have Gauntlgrim as a teleportation location.
Whoopee!
Okay.
The guys that are with me, I'm going to ask them if the princess is here.
As in Catty Bree?
Yes.
Uh,
I only have one signature in my autograph page. Still.
and whose signature is that you have?
I have Bruner's.
You
I had
have
to persuade him, but I didn't.
Okay. Let's do a roll to see if she's here or in Mithril Hall. She is here.
Uh-oh, are you ready for this? Do you want to postpone?
Maybe we can do that privately, you finding
Okay.
her and chasing her down.
That sounds great. After that,
But I'm
gonna...
assuming you go and visit her, like finding out she's there, you go
Yeah.
to meet her. Okay. So
Yeah,
it
miss that
takes
chance.
you the better part of a good hour or so talking with her and meeting with her, and then you come out all happy and smiley because you've just met with her signature in your book.
Oh, thank goodness.
So I was with Loic during the copying down of the teleportation sigil. And when he asked and discovered that Katie Bree was there, I then asked the guards if they could direct me to the tavern that we're looking for, the Wild
Old
Boar,
Boar.
or the Old Boar Inn.
It gives you
Yeah,
pretty clear directions.
Should I
Yes.
come get you when I'm done? Did you want to continue on past the forge? Later?
Just meet me back. Meet me in the Old Boar Inn when you're done, is what I
Okay,
said.
will do.
Okay. You go to the Old Boar in Taman. You're able to find it fairly easily, and it's busy. People are drunk. As you're approaching, some dwarf actually gets thrown out of the door, and the barkeep stood there, having just thrown this person, waves to you, welcomes you in. There's room for one more now, come on in. You go in, there's music playing, people are having a good time, and he turns to you, what do you have?
A table. Do you have a table that's available?
He looks out. That one's a bit broken. That one's got someone sleeping on it. Yeah, there's a table at the back. You can grab that one.
All right, I'll take that. You just send me. I've heard that there's one drink that I should ask for here, and that drink is the thing that I heard, which Carl doesn't remember right now. But that's the drink I want. Can you send a mug over to that table?
It's what we're famous for. And he sends a drink over to you with this beautiful-looking dwarven female carrying the mugs over. And she actually hands you 3 mugs. Even though you sat down by yourself, she brought you 3, just in case. Just expectantly. You spend a good bit of time. It takes about an hour or so before Loic finds you and moves on. Where are you two going now after that?
I wanted to make sure that the primordial is all clean now and everything's working exactly the way it should. How secure it is, where someone would stand if they were trying to steal it, and then we'd probably make our way back through the east tunnels towards the Luskan region, kind of trying to make sure all those we won't go too far because it's several days travel down in there, but maybe like as far as we realistically can go without getting tired on our way back.
Okay, cool. So you'll venture down into the forges and down to the very pit where Megara is being kept. You went there previously. That's in fact where you met Erin the first time. Moments of nostalgia pass by you, particularly
I stand there and
for the
imagine his silhouette against the firelight.
Fight down there. But you're looking around, you can see evidence of his extra security that Bruno had put in. You can see that there are extra people. Make a perception check, though, as you're looking around.
24.
24. And Loic. Cool. So, together, while you're moving around, you notice that, and you keep coming back to it, there is a particular corner near the forge that just seems a little dark. There's a big doorway that is the only doorway in the area that doesn't have a guard stood in front of it. And it strikes you as odd that this one would be empty, though it's close proximity to the forge itself, but it's secluded in a way. It's kind of private. If you move up towards the doorway, you notice that from that point you can't see any guards in the vicinity from where you are.
Stand in that area and be like, well, here's a flaw. I'm
Go ahead. Yeah, same page.
Okay, I was gonna grab a guard and be like, "Hey, what's up with this spot? Why isn't it being watched?"
I don't know. There was someone here earlier. Strange. Let me just check it out. And he walks through the doorway into the dark and around a corner. Comes back. I don't see. That looks all clear to me. But I wonder where he is.
Who's supposed to be here? Do you know his name, or the guy that has his name?
I don't know his name. Quartermaster would probably have it, but I don't know it. As you're stood there and thinking with this dwarf next to you, you hear a sound come from down that corridor.
I'm gonna look at Taman like I'm wondering what to do.
Did you hear that sound coming down from that corridor?
Well, yes, I did.
I think it should be investigated.
By us now, by the dwarf, by us as a group.
Ideally, us as a group. However, we are the only two here. How about this? You stay here, the dwarf goes back to the quartermaster, and I will investigate.
Okay, that sounds good. Be careful.
Okay, so you leave Loic behind Taman. You run through the doorway into the dark. Round a corner, you can see a light at the far end, and almost like a cliche, as the light shines upon a certain spot in the floor, you can see a goblet has hit the ground and is rolling in a circle to a stop just within the light.
So there's a spotlight on the ground, essentially?
Almost seems like the light is focused on this particular area. It's not actually a spotlight, but that's where the light seems to be the brightest, and just there is a goblet that is just rolled and turning and stops.
All right, so I reach into my bag and I grab this little flask of an antidote that I made a while back that I have never used. It's an antidote to fungal poison. I cast the light cantrip on it so that it is a light source, and I try to figure out where that goblet could have come from, and I toss the flask over in that area.
Okay. Go ahead and throw me an athletics check. See how good your arm is.
That's not very good.
It'd be a dexterity based if it's a ranged attack.
Oh yeah, I guess it's ranged. So go ahead and make it wouldn't necessarily be acrobatics, but make me a dex check.
If you throw an axe or something like that, you use strength modifier.
Would you like to roll a dex based check?
The odds are better. So yeah, sure. Okay,
Just
so
a straight dex check.
all right, 10.
About the same. Okay. So you throw this bottle with the light shining from it, and the shadows just seem to elongate as it flies through the corridor. It bounces a couple times. Ching, 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 ching. And it comes to rest just past the goblet. And you can see lit up a couple doors that are wide open. One has been broken down and is on the floor next to where the goblet was. And laid on top of the door is a dwarven body. It's approximately 70 foot away from you right now.
How far away am I from Loic?
You're only about 60 foot around a corner, so not far at all. But by now, the dwarf has ran off to go fetch some other guards. Loic, what were you doing in those few moments when he ran off? Were you staying put?
Yeah, I'm staying. I took up the guard's sentry spot, and I'm just there with my staff, looking awesome.
Okay. So, Taemin, what do you want to do?
I feel the need to raise the alarm. What kind of space do I have around me?
You're in a wide open corridor, like 20 foot wide, 20 foot tall, just long corridor. There are doors jutting off in various locations, back down the hall. It's still part of the forges, so you can feel heat coming from immediately behind you where the main area of the forge is, but then you can also hear the sounds from down the corridor of the familial, almost drowned out chink, chink of forge work happening.
I yell out to Loic, "Dead dwarf, attackers still here," and then I cast Thunderwave to make a large volume of noise emanate from this area.
Loic, you hear that shout, and then a boom as noise has been made.
As I dash his direction, I'm going to send a spell of sending to Lael and tell her to gather everybody and meet us down here. Sounds like a fight.
And I am going to cautiously approach the dead body.
When you get to about 30 foot away from the dead body, your quarterstaff just starts vibrating and ringing of danger, and you see a large creature pull its way out of the door that's been broken down. You look at it, it looks like a huge wolf, but it only has a white mane over its head, and it steps further out, hunched over into the small space. You can see it's got 4 large arms, and it rests down on top of the dwarf. Turns and looks up at you. Transition back a couple hours to Lael, Erin, and Gideon out by the marketplace. What else are you guys doing before Lael goes off to her baths?
Okay, the last time we were in Gultul Grim, Erin and Ilya found a shop that sold poisons.
You did.
I would like to return to that shop and see what he might have in stock on the poison front.
Didn't you guys rob him blind?
Yeah, I think he'd be out of business.
Technically, the way it works is that Ilya robbed him, and then I purchased some stuff.
Technically. If I remember correctly, you found a shopkeep that was in your order, and you robbed him blind.
So look, I went back the next day and purchased the remaining stuff that Ilya could not steal. I think he only got into the safe, and he couldn't take everything.
It was just an accessory.
I certainly remember purchasing some of the remaining stuff.
Okay. Well, you are able to find in his shop right now a couple doses of assassin's blood.
Yep.
And a series of carrion crawler mucus. That's about it right now as his illicit materials. Business has been booming in the rest of the city, so his business has kind of been dragging behind a little.
No, that's the same 2 we had last time, so that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So how many of each?
He has 5 of each, and there are 150 gold for the Assassin's Blood, 200 gold of the Carrion Crawler Mucus.
Can I get 2 of Carrion Crawler, which is
400.
400.
Yep.
And the Assassin's Blood was 150?
Yes.
Can I get 4 of those?
Okay, so 600, so that's 1,000 gold spent.
Yep, okay.
You have those.
Does it happen to get a discount for being, like, Hero of the Underdark? And your poison helps save, and I'll tell people that.
Make a persuasion check.
6 plus 1. 7.
My lad, you'll find I don't necessarily need to be the hero. If people knew that my poisons were the savior of the just people knowing. Big problem. No. 1,000 gold.
Yep.
Okay, so, Lael, a couple hours have gone by. This is approximately the same time just before, well, at about the same time that Loic is meeting Taman in the bar. So still a good 45 minutes before they get down to the forges. It's the evening time. You've done everything that you had planned to do. What would you like to do? Head out to meet Divkira?
Yeah.
You find Kopek very quickly, and he leads you up towards Divkira's room. Is anyone going with Lael?
Elustas.
Gideon's still inclined to, but he'll respect your wishes.
Aaron was going to, I don't know where Aaron is going to be right now. He might have decided after the shopping trip to head down to the blacksmith's area, because that's where he found some interest last time. I know that.
So you generally head down towards the forges to where the blacksmiths are. As you did last time, you'll end up accidentally stumbling upon Loic down there. Okay?
I don't want to do that as an intent of...
I know that's not your intent. No, I know that. But you've been down there. It's kind of a deja vu situation. Taman and Loic fighting something down in the forges, and you turn up. So...
Somebody entered the Matrix.
Yeah. So, Lael, you head up towards Divkira's rooms with Gideon following. As you get to the room, you see that it's moving into a more ornate kind of area. More of the high respectable individuals would be living in these particular rooms. And the guards that are stood either side of the door open these wide doors to reveal a very colourful inside. There are carpets and curtains, just drapes everywhere, all kinds of colours under the sun. It's a very bright place in here. And you can see that Divkira is sat on a chaise lounge, reclining, reading a book as you approach. She sees you come in and she stands up. Oh, wonderful. I'm glad you came. And you brought a friend.
This is Elust. She is also of our order.
Ah, welcome, Elust. Great. Well, come, sit down. The men are just getting the baths ready. Tell me a little bit about you. I'm assuming you're not from Menzo Baranzon.
Well, I was born there.
Hmm.
And I reached my maturity there before my mother decided to leave.
Interesting. But you don't worship Lolth, right?
No, none of us do.
And you guys have managed to survive on the surface alone?
Well, my mother took half our house to the surface and left a half behind.
Oh. Okay. My family have struggled to survive. Hence the deal that they made. They made a deal they shouldn't have, and it's getting them into trouble. But, families, you know. What are you... I keep having visions of you and your friends. What is it you are doing? What is your grand task?
We are putting stop to the giant threat.
That's an awfully big task for 7 individuals. How do you hope to do that?
we stopped demon lords and Lolth herself. I think we can handle giants.
Wow. How would you stop them? I'm really curious. How do you stop the giant lords?
I haven't really been paying attention. They just point me at things and I kill them. If you really want to know that, you should speak to the wiggly-armed one, although I would advise you wouldn't want to do that.
No. Well, I think our baths are ready. Let's go. Is your shiny friend going to be following?
Gideon, do you want a bath?
Gideon just took an obtrusive position off to one side and just sort of listening in. Turns and looks. Why would I require a bathe?
Because you smell.
He sort of sniffs down at himself. I do?
Yes, awfully.
I've never had that problem before.
Yes, well, you're mortal now, and mortals smell if they don't bath regularly.
I would sooner remain in my armour, I think, for the time being.
Fine, at least we'll scrub you back on the ship then.
She leads you into her room, and it's what they've done for this bathing room. It's a large circular area, and the bath is actually sunk down into the ground, so you would step into it. The water comes up almost to the level of the ground, and you can just see the steam coming off of it. It's a very nice, clear water that looks wonderfully hot.
For reference, just quickly, Gideon was rolling inside just to see if she's deliberately bumping Lael for information for nefarious purposes.
And
but I imagine
you
that
can't tell.
Yeah,
unfortunately, you can't tell. She immediately starts undressing. She takes off her robes. You do see quite clearly on her back, she has huge scratches, deep cuts down her back, almost like a very nasty scourge that's racked across her back as she disrobes and then sits into the bath and invites you to come on, join. It's wonderfully warm.
Now, Halou starts helping Lael take off all her bits of armour, and Lael lifts her chin and goes, "Were you once a slave?"
No, I wasn't. I was once a well-respected member of my family. Shunted a little because I was a little different, but respected. It was when they suddenly decided to turn away from Alistrae that they had their way and harmed me as I tried to stop them.
So they were formerly of our church.
They were. One of the reasons why I've come here seeking solace. I need safety. Out of curiosity, and please don't read too much into this, Lael, are you taking off your bracelet?
No.
Okay.
Oh, and my hairpin is going from where it's tucked in my armour, and Lisa's going to put my hair up and put that in.
Okay, cool. So you get into the bath. Gideon stands there watching. You can also see that the guards have come and kind of congregated near the door as you sat down. She continues her line of questioning. My visions include you on a boat, but flying. I would love to see. How do you fly in a boat?
Like all things magic, I, once again, don't care to pay attention to these things. Noble privilege, you see. Others do that thinking for me.
Right. Well,
Where are your family now? I mean, where on the surface did they find solace?
I left them in the Evermores.
The Evermores. Not an easy place to settle.
No, but they had made a deal with giants and they headed out east. I don't know what for, where to, or what they're doing, but that's what they're doing. Lady Lael, I'm really interested to know, and please be completely honest with me. What were you doing at the Eye of the Allfather?
The giant temple?
Yeah.
It's an oracle. We were asking it questions.
Okay. Thank you. That's everything I need from you. You've helped me out wonderfully. I do dislike having to get involved in things, but you people are getting in my way. At this moment, you hear Loic send his message to you that there is danger.
At that statement, Gideon's going to reflexively cast Sanctuary on Lael.
Okay. Well, with her statement, she smiles at you, and you see her eyes start to almost flicker with electricity as she shouts a word. What languages do you speak, Lael? And Gideon as well?
Common, Elven, Undercommon.
Abyssal, Giant, Celestial, and Common.
Okay. Unfortunately, none of you understand her as she speaks in a harsh, almost lizard-like, draconic language. She shouts at the guard, who all immediately rush into the room, weapons at the ready. I would like the two of you to roll initiative. Her form starts to shift and change. As she shifts into her draconic form, she also phases out of existence and disappears as the guards start making their way towards the three of you. Alust is there. But at the same time, you get this message from Loic saying danger is downstairs. What would you like to do, Lael?
I'd like to respond to Loic and say, bit busy, dragon, long stay.
Okay. Then, because yours is going to be a fairly quick one, we'll deal with your combat before moving down to the other one, which will be Loic, Taman, and Erin.
Okay. So I'm going to imagine my stuff is just behind me.
Mm-hmm.
I just took out. I'm just going to take my Moonblade.
Okay.
Pick up my Moonblade. Is that an action?
It's part of your action to draw your Moonblade.
Oh, I see. And cast Shield of Faith on myself. That's my action.
Okay.
And get out.
Okay. So you climb out of the bath,
Yeah.
grab your sword.
Yeah.
Naked as the day you were born.
Yeah.
Cast Shield of Faith. Well, first guard, the one that's next to you, moves closer towards you and with the spear in hand goes to strike at you.
And he's got to make a wisdom save.
He does have to make a wisdom save.
Is he also at disadvantage? Because, Lael?
He doesn't seem to be distracted, though
Fair
he
enough.
fails the wisdom save and is unable to attack you. So instead, he will move away from you on the other side towards Gideon.
I'm going to hit him when he comes close.
Okay, go ahead and hit him. Okay, so the 14 will not hit him, unfortunately. You swing, you just miss him as he approaches.
As ever.
Another of the guards moves straight towards you and can just get in range to attack you with his sword. That's a 9 to hit, so that's going to fail. He's going to make a second attack with another 9 to hit. This is terrible. This is just ridiculous. Another guy moves in. He's going to try to go for Lael, make the wisdom save, and he gets a 16. What's the spell save DC?
15.
15. Okay, so he's able to come in for the attack, swinging at Lael, who's, because you're only wielding your Moonblade, and you've had your turn, have you specified whether or not you're using any of it for AC?
Yeah, I am. Part of my turn, I would have moved it to +0 as I cast Shield of Faith. So my AC is 18.
Okay. 18 even naked. He goes in for 2 attacks with his weapon, but just can't quite manage to hit. Your weapon is just catching in the way. And the last guard makes his way across, also failing the wisdom save. Gideon, you're up.
Also, yeah, I'm just going to swipe it. Go for the one nearest Lael, so that guy.
Okay. First attack comes in, manages to hit him quite solidly to the side of his head, reels him back just enough that you miss the second, but come in with the base of the of Ortus and hit him good and strongly. And that's actually enough to kill the would-be assassin.
Sorry, I was aiming for this guy.
Oh.
For what it's worth. Yeah, cheers.
Killed the assassin that was up there. Okay, anything else from you, Gideon?
No.
Okay, Lael, back up on you.
I'm going to attack the guy north of me for a 28.
That'll hit him.
Excellent. I'm also going to divine smite this, but just with auto smite, he takes 1 point of radiant damage and then an additional 15.
Okay, so
16
how much damage?
16.
16 in total. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, wait, and then just normal sword damage is 11.
Okay, with a powerful swing, you cut into him. He is still standing.
Okay, second attack is an 18, which does
That'll hit.
15 points of radiant and an additional. That's my 1d8. 1.
Okay. You swipe for the second time, you cut him down. He's just able to hold himself back up, though there is a lot of blood now dripping from him.
Excellent, okay, end of 10.
In response, the guard that's down by Gideon is going to swipe at Gideon twice. First attack with a 21 to hit.
That'll have disadvantage with the cloak if that matters.
Okay, so it's a 12 to hit, so that'll miss.
Yep.
Comes in with a second, and that's a 15 to hit you.
That will probably miss, I think. Yeah, that misses.
Guys, nightmare to hit. Second guy comes in to swipe at Lael with a 18 to hit the first time, and only a 13 to hit the second time. So Lael, you take 12 points of slashing damage. And then the last one comes in with another 2 attacks, a 24 to hit and a 21 to hit. Right. So 2 powerful swings down, cutting into you. First one is a 11 piercing damage, and then 7 piercing damage as the second one cuts into you. Gideon.
Which is the one that Lael bloodied?
This guy up here.
Right. I'm going to use a bonus action to cast. Yep, that one, Rifle Smite.
Okay. Next time you hit a creature with a melee weapon, it'll take extra damage.
Yep. I'm going to take 2 attacks at the guy below me.
Those will both definitely hit. Powerful shots, you cut into him deeply, but he's still standing.
Can I differentiate between the two, which looks the weakest?
They're about the same, for all you can tell.
Alright, I'm going to hit the guy next to me, but I'm going to do it with the intent of knocking him out.
Okay. And that'll do it. With a powerful conk, you knock him down. He is unconscious. Anything else from you, Gideon?
Yeah, I'm going to move into range with these guys.
Okay, Lael.
I'm now going to take my Moonblade in 2 hands. I'm going to attack the guy still north of me.
Still as a +0 weapon?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that is it. 15 to hit.
That will not hit, unfortunately.
Okay. Second attack is a 16.
That will not hit, I'm afraid.
Okay.
He parries your weapon away, just knocking it up so that you're unable to land a shot. The guy that's below Lael turns to see the new combatant and attacks Gideon. He crits his first shot with a 26 to hit.
Is that with the disadvantage?
What is giving you disadvantage?
The Cloak of Displacement.
Cloak of Displacement. Okay, so it's a 22 to hit.
Okay, that hits. Yeah.
Okay, it hits, which means the next attack is not disadvantage. So you take 8 points of slashing damage from this guy's weapon, and then he comes in with a second attack for another 10 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
So he cuts into you, and the assassin that's on the top will then swipe down at Lael. So he rolls a 20 to hit for the first time, and then a 24 to hit the second time. They both hit you, Lael. Okay. So as he comes down, first attack is 12 points of piercing damage. Second one is another 11 points of piercing damage, just trying to cut in past your weapon and bring you down. Gideon.
That's going to be against the weaker one, but I think it's going to miss anyway.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So
Misses.
we'll try that one instead.
You come in for a second and you just manage. He's able to bring up his weapon just quick enough to knock your halberd away.
Finish him off with that then, I suppose. Hopefully. Yeah.
That will hit for 14 points of slashing plus 5 points of radiant. This guy is still standing though. So he's knocked down, cut a bit in across his chest, but he's still standing. Lael?
It's a guy north of me. 27.
That will definitely hit.
Excellent. So he takes 10 points of radiant damage plus an additional 8. That's it.
Is that just from your weapon attack?
Yeah, that's from just my auto. So it's 18
Okay.
in total.
And the weapon attack?
Yeah. It's 10. So 8 is Divine Smite, 10 is just my weapon attack.
So you bring your sword down and you cleave straight through him, felling that creature before you.
Excellent. And then for my second attack, I'm going to go for the guy behind me.
Okay.
I'm going to use my bonus action to Divine Smite him. So that's 29.
That'll hit.
He takes 13 points of weapon damage, 2 points of Divine, and then an additional 16.
Okay. You cut deep into him, and as the radiant energy comes from your weapon, his body just falls limply to the ground. You have finished off the last of those in your room with you. Now, with that, we move through the halls of Gauntlegrim to Loic, Owen, and Gamel. How you doing, Jason?
Just fine.
Would you like to be involved as a combatant down here? You're not right down here, you'd have to get down here, but you mentioned that you wanted to go a little early.
To be honest, I can't see any realistic way it's working. He's probably still up in the Merchants Guild, so unless Lael called them, she's the only one with any sort of means to communicate directly with him. Yeah, I think it'd just be a bit too much of a coincidence if he happened to just wander down there at that time, so don't worry about it.
Okay, no worries. So, Erin, you're wandering around the forges, kind of seeing the blacksmiths at work, and you turn around a corner right as you see Loic calling out to Lael saying, "There's a problem. Get down here. We've got trouble."
I take it I heard the bang, the explosion, thunderclap, but...
You would have heard the thunderclap.
Okay, I would have been heading into that direction because of the thunderclap, then I imagine. So this really depends on how far away I am.
You and Loic are about 60 foot away from Taman, but you're just right around the corner, within negligible distance from Loic at this point.
Okay, so I will run up to Loic, and then I'll be trying to find out what's going on, because he would be unaware where Taman is, what the situation is.
Okay, so we're back to Taman and Loic. Taman, you had just sent the message back. You cast the thunder wave against this area. You saw this Dragloth. Loic made the call. What are you guys doing?
Taman would perceive this large creature and know that he doesn't have his usual party around him, and I would cast Sanctuary on myself so as to keep the creature occupied until reinforcements arrive.
The powerful spell goes over you, keeping it from being able to attack you if it gets in range. Erin, Loic, are you running into Taman? What are you doing?
I need to know what the situation is. He's going to be... It could be just Loic. For all he knows, it could be Loic just making noise. So he'll be running up going, what was that? What was going on?
So I already called out to the dwarves in the room, I think. I told them to go that way towards the noise, and no doubt if they have a brain in their heads, they'll know that there's something wrong. And then I'll be like, wait, only half of you go. Half of you stay here. And then I'm going to turn to Aaron and I'm going to say, this is typical drow tactics, misdirection tactics. I don't know if we should all leave this area with this security dead spot.
What's going on? Where's Taman?
Taman's the Thunderwave.
Where is
There! Go, man, go!
You hold the thought. I'll go.
Dwarves,
And-
you, go!
Okay, so two dwarves run around the corner. They meet Aaron, and they start charging through the corridor. You head into the darkness, turn around, you can immediately see the sight of Taman stood there, almost glowing a little bit with the magical essence that's on him, shimmering over him. And just past him, about 60 foot, you can see a large creature that you've not seen before.
Is it fiendish?
It seems fiendish, but it's not, like you've not actually encountered a Dragloth before.
Okay. Would he have read about a Dragloth?
Only know that they are the spawn of a drow priestess and a demon.
Okay. He would then draw Black Razor and get as close to Taman, or if not, he wouldn't go past him, he would just form a line with Taman.
Okay. Cool. At this point, I'd like everyone to roll initiative down here. Loic, are you sticking back,
18.
not coming into the hallway?
I'm basically the last line of defense, right at the primordial.
Cool.
That's a 20, Aaron.
It's a 20. Okay.
Yeah.
A second Dragloth charges out of the door, past the first one.
Does Aaron
towards
sense,
you.
and it's about 60 feet, does Aaron sense any additionals?
You can sense one other medium-sized soul.
That
You
would-
shouldn't have sight of her, but yeah. Loic, down in the corridor, out of the way. You can't really see the combat that's going on. Would you like to do anything?
No.
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 Okay. So, Taman.
Just to clarify, Loic, you're keeping an eye on the primordial?
Yeah.
Okay. So is what I see on the screen concerning Aaron and the dwarves the actual distance they are from me?
By now, yes.
Okay. I'll see Aaron. I was like, oh, thank God you're here. There's a dwarf down, and we saw this security hole in this area. There's a big critter over there. Okay, yeah, you probably see it. It's kind of right there. So I say those things, and I no longer feel that I need to be shielded from danger. I'll grab my prayer beads and cast Bless on myself, Aaron, and DM's choice of one of the guards.
The one with
And
blonde hair.
makes sense. And I will use my regular action to go into Radiant Soul.
Okay. Your wings burst open, ready to go.
And I will fly up next to this guy.
Okay. Aaron.
You're saying it's 35 feet, so I can't get to it in one action anyway.
You can, because as you kicked into action, you have been hasted.
Oh, okay. Is he hungry, is he?
This thing's big.
This thing's big.
So 35 foot to get next to it. If you wanted to be flanking, it would take you 50 foot of movement.
I am going to cast Protection from Evil and Good
Okay.
on myself.
And protection from evil and good, just as a refresher, it gives it gives any fiend disadvantage on attacks against you, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Amongst some other things, but that's the most thing.
The main thing.
But
Okay.
My main thing on this
So
restoration.
the first guard, the one that has been blessed, will charge forward into position next to...
I've still got stuff to do.
Oh, you still got stuff to do? Okay.
Well, I'm
Sorry.
hasted, so I do have an attack still. So he will move in front. I'm not going to go around the back and flank. I'm going to just hit him to the front, and then I'll make the single attack that I have left with haste.
Okay. Go ahead and attack.
That is a 16 plus 12 is 28.
That's going to hit.
So that's 5 and 5, so that's 10. I'm not going to use the superiority dice yet. So that's +8, +4 because he's a fiend, so that's 22 points of damage.
Is just from the one attack?
Just from the one attack.
So following your lead, the dwarf moves forward as close as he can, right up next to it, and he's going to try and swipe at this creature with his spear. That is a 10 to hit, so he misses. And his friend is going to move around. He's not going to be able to attack, but he will get into a flanking position. And now it's the Dragloth's turn. The second Dragloth moves forward, gets into flanking position with the dwarf that just went onto the other side of the first creature, and will bite at him.
Poor red shirt.
Yep, poor red shirt. He rolls a crit, which is enough to kill in one vicious bite. He just cuts a huge gash in the guy's neck and downs him in one go. Poor little dwarf. He'll then continue his movement up next to, and that'll be all he does. Now this wonderful little lady will charge forward 30 feet and cast a spell. I need Aaron to roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Does Bless help? Do I roll with Bless?
Yeah, 1d4.
Yeah, 1d4.
Okay, so that's a 4 plus 1, 5 plus 6, 11.
Okay. You see this spray of poison launch from her hand, fly through the air and hit into you for 12 points of poison damage.
Cool.
That's all she does. Now the Dragloth that top of the round. First thing he's going to do is he's going to bite at Aaron with a 22 to hit you.
Was that with disadvantage?
No, so that's 12 to hit you. So he fails that. He's then going to rake at you twice with his claws with a 17 and an 18 in total, the two attacks.
The 18 will hit.
Okay, so he comes in for the first slash, but it just hits your armor and doesn't do anything. Comes in with a second swing, cuts in for 19 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
Loic.
Is
everything seems to be contained right now. No one seems to be moving towards Megara.
I'm going to take one last look around, make sure everything's good to go and nothing's invisible or hiding out in shadows. And then I'm going to make a dash for the fight, because it sounds like a violent, vicious thing echoing down the corridors.
Yep. You take another look around. You're still absolutely sure there is nothing hiding around. You can see off in the distance there are more dwarves on their way.
Good.
So more reinforcements are on their way. So you charge in. You can get, as I said, you were about 60 feet away from them. So you get just to your current position at the end of your turn. Cool. Then Taman, what would you like to do?
I will bonus action cast Shalala, fly to the other side of this guy, and I will swing at him twice with my quarterstaff. 22
That'll
and
hit.
17.
Both shots, both hitting.
And I will do 9 plus 8 plus 10 radiant from my glowiness.
Okay. Knocking the creature back, it seems to be unable to withstand your attacks. Anything else?
I will action surge and attack twice more.
Okay.
With a 21 and a 20 crit.
Perfect. With completely bewildering speed, you just whack, 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 and then a solid connect, dealing another 14 points, plus extra because of the Radiant Soul? Or? Oh, no,
only
that's
happens
just
once per turn.
Yeah, okay. Aaron.
This one in front of me is the one that Taman's just hit, I imagine? Yeah?
Yep, and the one that had hit you as well.
Okay, how's he looking?
He's still looking pretty strong.
Aaron's going to be... He's going to snarl. He's not changing, because is there presently more still dwarves in this chamber?
There is one dwarf next to you.
He won't change him. He will attack. Black Razor, first roll is a 16, so that's 28. Second roll is an 18, which is 30.
So a 30 to hit, that definitely hits.
Okay. That's a 5 and a 6, plus Colossus damage now, he's taking damage. That is 6. Alright, so that's 11, 17, plus 8, 25, plus 4, 29 points of damage.
Okay. Powerful hit. As this hit connects, you see the creature start to shudder and quake. He's now looking bloodied.
Well, he's going to look more bloodied in a minute. Right, second attack. That's 22 on the first roll. Second roll,
Right.
17. Okay, so I will use a superiority dice now. That's 16, plus 8 again, 24, plus the 4 from my thingy is number 28 points of damage.
With a powerful cut. Yeah. Anything else?
Attack for haste.
Mm-hmm.
16. Second roll is 23.
Hits.
I'll use another superiority dice. So that's 14, plus 8, 22, plus 4, 26 points of damage.
Okay. Anything else from you?
Action surge.
Okay.
How's this thing looking, actually?
So after the first attack, you came in, you swung Black Razor, cutting across its chest. It reeled in the pain. You then brought it up again for another attack, and it screamed at you then, dropped to one knee. You come in for a third attack, and it's now struggling, but still standing.
Okay. Action surge to finish this bloody
Okay.
scrape his bloody claws at me. Right. 14. 16.
That'll hit.
That does hit. Okay. So that's 14. Plus 8 again is 22. Plus 4 is 26.
It's still standing.
Still standing.
Still standing. You cut into it deeply, and it's just blood is pouring. Its arms are now weak, but it's still standing.
I've got one more attack. 19 and 30.
It'll hit.
Last superiority dice. 26 points of damage, finally.
Okay. With the last swipe, you jump into the air to get the extra momentum, and you bring it down, and the creature falls beneath you. You feel this powerful energy surge into the blade and up into your body, giving you 182 temporary hit points.
Nice.
There we go. You have exactly 250 hit points right now.
Thank you.
Anything else from you?
A smile and a wink at the next one.
Okay. Well, the guard looks at you incredulously and almost seeming bolstered. He's going to try and hit the creature as many times. And lo and behold, he crits. He comes in. Powerful hit. However, he only deals 6 points of piercing damage in total. But as he sticks a spear into the creature's leg, he just turns up to you and almost with a yeah. But that's it. It's now the Dragloth's turn. So it's going to slap away the spear that's embedded in its leg and bite at this guy. With a 25 to hit, that definitely hit, dealing 14 points of piercing damage, which kills the guard. Then turns to the person right next to it, which is Aaron, and will rake its claws against him. First attack is a 21 to hit.
At disadvantage still?
At disadvantage.
Okay. That hits, but he will now cast shield.
Okay, so it doesn't actually hit.
Nope.
Yeah, so it just misses. Okay, and then the second one was a 9 to hit, so that also failed. He's not happy, so he's actually going to make a move to go past you. He's still staying within melee range with you, but he has moved away from you.
Okay.
But it is now the Drow Priestess's turn. She steps forward a little bit and will cast a Ray of Sickness on Taman, which is a 20 to hit you, Taman.
Does not hit.
Does not hit. Okay. And she will move the rest of her movement to there. Loic, you see this Dragloth has moved past Aaron, and there is a drow priestess moving up behind. What would you like to do?
Definitely don't want to tango with him, so I'm going to move my full 30 here. And then I'm actually going to Misty Step another 30 till I'm there.
Okay.
And then, because this is a priestess of Loth, and it's obvious, I take it she is.
Yep. She's carrying a spider staff.
I have been saving this one. I'm going to be like, don't look at me, at Taman behind my shoulder while I cast.
Elder Eye. So, when this spell is cast, Loic's left eye is transformed into a glowing golden orb of evil. For the duration, anything within 30 feet that looks at the eye must make a con saving throw. Failed save, they are blinded for 1d4 rounds. If the creature fails the saving throw by more than 5, a magical blindness results that persists until a remove curse or lesser restoration spell is applied. So, she needs to make a con saving throw because that drew her attention. As you give her the evil eye, she rolls an 18.
Oh, that barely passes. My DC is 17. But it's still up. She's going to have to keep doing this.
Every turn.
Every time she looks at me, I think, actually.
Yep. So she looked at you, managed to save from it. That is a pretty powerful eye that you got there. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, Taman.
I will fly back to the other side of the fiend to take a flanking position with Aaron and take 2 attacks with my quarterstaff and a 3rd attack with my haft. That is 24, crit, 28, and another crit. How about that?
2 crits in a row. So, your first attack comes in, knocks it back, stops its momentum. Second attack actually knocks it over as your third one comes down to hit it square on the head.
And then an extra 10 radiant damage.
Powerful shots from you there. Anything else, Taman?
That's it.
Okay. Aaron.
Right, so Aaron, seeing the beasties turn to Taman because he's hitting him, he's going to, with one hand, pull the tail and the other hand drive the sword in.
Okay.
22.
That'll hit.
That'll be for 22 points of damage.
Okay.
And Colossus Slayer, 28. That's my first attack. Actually, I'm going to cancel Protection from Evil and Good now, and I'm going to cast Hunter's Mark
Okay.
on Beastie in front of me. So 28 on the first roll, second roll is 28. 24 points of damage.
Carving away at this creature. You've cut deeply. Anything else? Because you've not taken your hasted action yet.
I can't cast spells as hasty, can I? It wouldn't make sense anyway because Logan's doing his thing. So no, I'll make that last attack on the. That is a natural 1. So on the first one and 30.
That'll definitely hit. Come down with the last attack, carving deeply into its back.
27.
Right. Now, screaming in pain. That's the end of your turn, right?
Yep.
It will turn right back around to attack you. First attack being a 22 to hit.
That does hit.
You take 20 points of piercing damage as he bites down onto you. And then comes in raking his claws. First one is a 21 to hit.
That now misses.
That misses. But the second one is actually a crit. So he hits for 40 points of slashing damage.
Yep, okay.
But with that, he is going to still attempt to move past you, which will give you an attack of opportunity.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take the attack.
Okay, go ahead and roll the attack. Same thing for you, Taman, if it survives.
It's 31. The other rolls are 4, so...
Okay, so you both hit as it makes its way past you both.
25.
Okay, so he's looking very weak, almost stumbling as he makes his way past you both, but he does make his way past you.
I'll check that.
It's now the Drow Priestess's turn. She's going to look at Loic again. She's got to make that same save again, a con save. She rolls a 3.
Oh, that's magical persistent blindness.
So she just suddenly goes blind. Her eyes just go wide. She looks around. What's And in Undercommon, she shouts at you, "What did you do?" And then for her action, she is going to cast Lesser Restoration on herself, which does restore the blindness, but that wasted her turn, and she's going to run away from you. Because that concerned her. But Loic, what would you like to do?
Well, I'm going to cast Hold Person.
Okay. What has she got to make?
I think it's another Constitution save, same DC.
And you know what? She fails. So you cast your Hold Person, and she immediately just, in mid-movement, stops moving.
Is there any way in which I can go step into her line of sight and just be like, hey?
Well, you can now that you've held her. You can then move and look at her.
I'm going to try to blind her again.
And she's paralyzed, which paralyzed creature is incapacitated and can't move or speak. Creature automatically fails strength and dex saving throws. Okay, so it can still make the con save. And she rolls a 17. That'll beat it. Okay, so she's staring at you wide-eyed herself, but unable to move.
Make that more realistic. There you go.
Okay. Taman. This creature's moved past you. What are you going to do?
I will pursue it and swing 3 times. So it's 23, 27, and 27.
Mm-hmm. Pretty solid hits.
For 6, 12, 7, and an extra 10 radiant on top of that.
Well, Taman, how would you like to do this?
Well, as the fiend is fleeing, I swoop down and do all sorts of unnecessary Jedi spins as I'm wailing it with my quarterstaff. Just whap, 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 until it falls down beneath the blows.
So as you knock it down, its body just keeps trying to get back up, but it can't. You hit it again, it tries to get back up. You hit it one last time, and it just drops dead on the floor before you. Anything else from you, Taman, now that you've killed it?
I will start flying back towards the priestess.
Okay. Aaron, you see that the creature has died before you. You are about 60 foot away from the Drow priestess, who now appears to be frozen in place as Loic just stares at her wide-eyed.
Aaron will approach, but on the way past, he will just shout to Loic, "Do we want this one alive?"
Don't look at me! And
I didn't look at him. I just shouted, "Do we want this one alive?"
Yes, I'd like to interrogate her. See if you can tie her up.
Okay.
So Aaron's action will be to pull his hempen rope out and then start trying to use all of his speed and hasted actions to bond her arms and hog tie her.
So what's your moving speed?
60.
60 while you're hasted. So you were able to get up next to her, still focusing on her, not looking behind you at Loic, and with your 2 attacks and your hasted in action and all of that, you are able to wrap a rope around her, tie it up. We will consider ourselves out of initiative for now.
He will gag her as well.
Okay, cool. As you put the gag on, you notice that her body goes a little bit limp, that the hold person is no longer in effect. What would you guys like to do? You've now got a Drow priestess tied and gagged down at the base. At this point, about this moment, another 2 dwarves run in through the door. What's going on? How can we help?
We need to take this prisoner to a location in which she can be guarded from using any magic.
Aye, to the cells.
And we need to talk to Brunner.
Okay.
I suggest a couple of you stand by here and try to repair the door here and ensure nobody else gets through.
Will do.
Were we able to perceive that they all came out of this area?
Yes, you saw they all came out of that door.
I will indicate that to the dwarves and say they're coming in through here.
Okay.
Can we see what's in that side, that where they came from?
You can do. Go ahead and make an investigation check as you step in.
Okay. I have advantage right now, so that's 18 on the first roll. What's investigation?
Yep.
Yeah, that's 22 on the first roll. The second roll is another 18, so 22.
Okay. You are able to see clearly how they were able to get in. There is, amongst the bodies of now what you can see is 3 dwarves, there is also a tunnel that has been dug out that goes almost directly down out of Gauntlgrim.
Alright. He will indicate that, obviously, to the others. We've got a hole. Do you want me to fill it in?
Well, we can't rightly leave a hole here, but I think it's best if our mining teams ensure that it's closed for good, not as much as we trust you, Master Aaron. We can do it properly.
I can do a temporary patch job now, and you can get your guys in. How about that? So Aaron will just use his cantrip, just to, whatever dirt that's about, he's just going to try and move it, shift it, and just pile it into the hole, and just try and move it, just to close it off, and let them come back and do a good job.
Okay. They are.
All right.
It's going to take you a couple minutes, but you will be able to get down.
No, we've got an unconscious guy on the floor.
Oh yeah, you do. Okay. So, if you guys are cool with that, we'll move back to Lael and Gideon, who have... yeah?
I would just say that, assuming that Aaron and Loic have the priestess control, if I get that impression, I would head back towards the primordial, just to ensure that the primordial is A-okay.
Okay. You'll get back and the primordial seems fine. Lael, what would you like to do with your unconscious guard?
So, are there any jugs or bowls in the room?
It's typical baths, so there's lots of jugs, lots of bowls, lots of cloth.
Excellent. I'd like to grab a jug, put my sword, my moonblade down, pick up Dawnbringer, fill the jug, walk over to the unconscious guy with my barefoot, brace my foot against his chest, and then pour water over his head.
So you're going to waterboard him?
Yes, and wake him up.
Okay. So, you wake him up. Filthy drow. What do you want with me?
Gideon's going to make sure he's disarmed and there's no weapons nearby.
Yeah, he's been disarmed.
I know what your penchant is for getting prisoners killed.
So he's not a drow himself?
No, he's not.
What is he?
He looks human.
Okay. I'm just gonna push the hilt of Dawnbringer into his flesh to read his mind via Dawnbringer.
So, you're unable to actually read the mind. There's a moment where the information has to transfer from him to her, but you can feel that she's taking in a lot, and you can see in his eyes as they go wide as another presence is in his mind. No! Could have just asked me. She is able to share with you that he was hired to help in an assassination attempt. All he knew was that it was a contract to kill one of a group of adventurers. The contract did not say specifically who, but that there is a group of adventurers that this one particular female wants dead. But as a grunt, as an assassin, they made sure that he didn't know everything.
Now I want to execute him.
Did he, I know obviously I'm not connected with this, but does he know the name of his employer, who this dragon was, anything like that?
He didn't know any name other than the name that she gave, which was Divkira. You are able to guess that he got the contract through nefarious means in Luskan. But the person that he got the contract from isn't noteworthy of any sort. You've not seen him before. You don't know the name, just a contract that was passed on. Okay. You then use Dawnbringer to kill him. Nice, quick, clean kill as you take the life from his body. Anything
My
else?
lady! Getting sort of behind you, he's helping her loose out, sort of making sure she's alright, and just seeing you execute this guy, his eyes go wide. What have you done?
I got what I needed from him, and now he's dead.
But he was unarmed. He was at your mercy.
My enemies do not get mercy.
In cold blood. Why?
I told you, my enemies do not get mercy.
And you can see he sort of takes this in a little bit, and he looks at you with a bit of a different look in his eyes. It's a bit more wariness. And he composes himself. Are you well? He says, looking at your wounds. And he goes to lay his hand on you.
She smacks his hand away. Improper! And she lays her own hands on herself and gets 50 hit points back. She's not even a scratch.
Fair enough. He just sort of looks around helplessly between you and Aloost. Now, the Loic communicating with you, was that something audible that Gideon would have heard, or?
No, it was just a private message. It was a sending spell.
Never mind then, that's
I
fine.
believe.
The others are in trouble. You might want to make your way down to the smithies. I'll dress and join you soon.
Certainly. I will go with all haste. And he basically just bolts to the door immediately.
Okay. Then, in the meantime, you three with the Drow Priestess in tow. The dwarves have helped you gather her in towards an area of the jail cells, which is not far from where you are, in fact. And they put her in a cell that, Loic, as you step in, you immediately get a sense that this place is warded against magic.
So where's Bruner in all this?
So Bruner is being notified, and he will be there shortly. But is there anything you would like to do with the priestess before Bruner arrives?
No, because I don't have any. I would like use of his clerics in order to draw her out and cast a zone of truth, potentially, and then interrogate her. That's the idea. They probably already have protocols for that. So I was just going to stick around and watch the interrogation.
Okay. So it doesn't take long. Bruner comes in, still in his battle armor. He's wielding his axe, ready to go. But seeing that she's prisoner, she's wrapped up. You see a moment of just... He misses out. He missed the combat. Like, why wasn't he called earlier? Like, okay, let's sort this out. And he immediately starts interrogating. Why are you here? What do you want? What do you want with Megaram? What's going on? And the priestess doesn't respond. She ignores any question that Bruner puts to her. Even after the clerics come in and cast a zone of truth.
Can they perform detect thoughts as well?
They can't. They don't know detect thoughts.
Okay. Well, I've got 4 possible spell slots that we can use for 4 possible questions.
Okay. How long does detect thoughts last? Because I think it lasts a couple questions. Concentration up to a minute. So you can ask questions up to a minute.
Okay.
So, depending on how quick you are with your questions, you might get more than 4 answers.
Well,
okay.
Do you want to give me a sec to think of these questions, or like, do you guys want to...
Yeah, I'm assuming you would have thought of the questions, then cast it, because you know your time is limited.
I don't know what the questions are yet,
All
personally.
right. Take your time.
Thanks.
Anything anyone else wants to do with the Drow Priestess?
Can I just do a once-over on her and see... Well, first, I want to pick up that staff and get it from her.
You grab it. It's a simple little staff, nothing special, but it was just a mundane item that she used.
I just look over her to see if there's anything noteworthy.
On her person, you find an iron flask strapped to her belt that appears to be It's got kind of a webbing design over the outside of it that seems to be giving off a magical aura.
Can I see if she's got a signet ring on her?
You can. You do see a signet ring, but you don't really know the houses too well. It's not a house that you've seen, though.
No, it's not
You
a
know
house
that
that we've
much.
seen, but she has got a signet ring.
Yes.
Can I remove the signet ring?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I grab the flask and I mention to Loic, this looks neat.
Can I make either a history or arcana check to remember what it is?
So you can make an arcana check to see what kind of magic is on it.
But again, Vault of Sages. Any manner of thing could have passed through those books that I've read.
True. Go ahead and make a history check.
Thanks. Really, the same stat. I just wanted to let you know where I'm coming from.
No, fair enough.
24.
Okay, you've seen items like this before, in particular with the legendary status that an item like this has. You are pretty sure that with the mission, you know the purpose of this. This is an iron flask that is designed to trap extraplanar entities.
This can contain extraplanar entities specifically.
Does
Seems
that
like-
include Magira?
It seems like this was what they were going to use.
In this little thing?
Magic.
Aaron's going to ask if anyone knows where the allies or the others actually at this station. Should we need to call them?
It's going to take a couple minutes, but they should be there soon.
I think Loic probably mentioned it to Lael via his means of doing things.
I think, would Gideon get there first if Lael's dressing in armour? It's like a good 10 minutes or so, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Plus then you've got to get down to the forges from the living quarters.
He'd have probably used his Radiant Soul to increase his speed to get down there if he knows people are in danger.
No,
Once he had a direction, so yeah. Just as
so
flavor.
you will arrive shortly thereafter, and we're actually going to end the session there tonight, guys.
Okay.
Cool.
It's cool with everyone. But you find yourselves now in Gauntle Grim, and you saw the attack made. You probably have a lot of questions in your mind, all of you, as to what the situation is, who that individual, the dragon drow woman was, and what
we don't know
she
that.
is.
We don't know about that yet, though, do we?
No, but Lael does.
Lael told Loic when she said there's a dragon. Busy.
Yeah, I'm curious if Loic's actually picked up on that, because I'm sure look like dragon.
Yeah, he's just one foot in front of the other right now. One thing at a time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool.
Alright, see you guys
See you later.
Right.
Good night, folks.